Hi, this is Bill with Reupholster Auto Body, and today we're going to do a small upholstery project on my daily driver. So let's go outside and take a look.
This is my 2012 Suzuki SX4. And what we're going to do is this small reupholstery project right here. As you can see, this car originally came with two fold-down armrests, and I like the idea of having a center console. So I bought an aftermarket center console, removed the two fold-down armrests, and replaced it with this. Surprisingly, this lasted pretty long, but however, as you can see here, there's quite a lot of wear from my arm sitting and resting on this area. So what we're going to do is actually remove this top piece with those bolts right there. We're going to take this back inside the house, and that is the upholstery project that we're going to try and tackle today.
Now let's take a look at some of the tools and the supplies that we'll be using for this project. I have a pair of scissors, a small X-Acto knife, or any sort of utility knife will do, some thread, a few needles. We're going to use probably the smaller upholstery needle in here. Of course, I have the armrest that I took off the car, and I also removed the bottom section of this armrest. And finally, we have the reupholstery vinyl. This is vinyl that we sell on the website. We sell it in 54-inch by 36-inch sections. We sell this along with our seat covers in case anybody wants to upholster anything else in the car if they buy one of our made-to-order seat covers. So what I'm going to do is pull these staples from inside the old armrest, and I'm going to try and take this material off and flatten it out, and I'm going to cut it along these seam lines. And then what I'm going to do is unroll this piece of vinyl material, and I'm going to lay this out flat so that we can make our pattern. I'm going to have to be careful with this because I'm going to have to reinstall. This material is a little odd in that it has both the padding and the original material on it, so I'm going to have to try and reinstall this piece of material so that I still have some padding on this whenever I get the new cover made and put on. I took the original armrest cover and I actually cut the armrest along each of the seams, and I had to take this in and use a towel with an iron, and I laid each one of these flat on the ironing board, and I laid the towel over top and just put the iron on in order to flatten out these pieces a little bit since they had the natural curve of the armrest in them. You can see this is where the damage is that we're trying to fix right now. So what I did is I also cut out a piece of vinyl and laid these out on the back side of the vinyl, and just took a permanent marker and outlined each piece. These made really good patterns. So once we remove these pieces, the next step is going to be cut each of these pieces of vinyl out. I'm going to leave a little bit around the edges for a seam allowance. And once I get there, I will show you what that looks like. So these are our pieces cut out. As you can see, I did leave a little bit of space. I didn't cut all the way up to the line so that I do have a seam allowance. This is how they're going to go together. I did throw an F on this so that I know which is the front of the armrest whenever I go to stitch these together. Ideally, I do this on a sewing machine, but unfortunately I don't have one, so I'm going to hand stitch this. I'm going to do this inside out along each of these lines. And then once that's complete, I'll come back and show you what that looks like. So here is the material sewn together. My stitching job isn't that great. Just to be safe, I went through and stitched a few times on each side just to tighten up the stitches. So the next step is going to be taking our armrest and turning our material inside out. And it's going to take a little bit of work to just go along these seams and push that material out so that it actually tightens up there. And then we're going to place this material over top of the armrest. But before I do that, like I mentioned before, there's a little bit of padding on top. However, this material is sort of like a laminated foam with sort of a vinyl material laminated on top. So what I'm going to do is I do want to keep some of the extra padding from this. So I'm going to go along, and I think I'm going to just spray some spray adhesive onto this before I actually put the new armrest cover on. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do it on the top. I might just do it on the sides to get a little padding here. I may just throw this top piece on just to be safe and have a little extra padding as well. So once I get that done, I will come back again and show you what that looks like from that point. This is the cover finally put back over top. As you can see in the video, I sprayed some spray adhesive on the original pieces that I tore off and put them back on again just to give myself a little bit additional padding on the armrest. And the extra thickness didn't seem to cause a problem. The only problem I did have is they must have had some special depth settings on their staple guns at the factory, since all the staples were not thoroughly embedded whenever I took the original staples out. My staple gun isn't as sensitive or doesn't have any of those settings. So what I ended up doing, just to be safe, is I had some thick pieces of leather that I just cut some leather straps on, and I actually put those in place and stapled through those, and that seemed to prevent the staples from going through so deep that they poked out through the side of the vinyl. And I went through with a hammer and just hammered those down slightly. So it seems to be on there pretty good right now. It seems to look pretty good from the top. So the next step is to just take the original insert and place that over top and screw that back in. And here's the cover finally installed. The next step is to go out and put this back on the hinge and put the final last two screws in and see how it looks. Let's go outside and do that now.
So we're back inside the car, and as you can see, I screwed the original hinge screws back on and close it up, and a little spray of Armor and a little wipe down, and as you can see, the damage is gone. Cover worked out, and that's all there is to it.
If you like this video today, please give me a thumbs up. And if you have any thoughts about this project, I'd love to hear them in the comment section below. Subscribe to the Reupholster Auto Body channel for more videos like this, and see you in the next video.